let's do this section on checking answers. So let's look at what you have been doing so far. So you have been solving equations, agree? And you have been using like two methods to solve equations. One that we call by inspection, and we said that this is to solve one-step equations. Equations are very simple, and you've been doing this since primary school. So if I have so for example, 2x equals 6, you will be thinking, okay, what number when I multiply it by 2 is equal to 6? So you're working in your head and you say, okay, x is equal to 3. This is what we call solving equations by inspection, but we have also been using inverse operations. And we've been doing these inverse operations. So we say solving equation, maybe I should put here solving equations. Solving equations by inspection or by using inverse operations on both sides of the equation. Agree? And here we did something like, for example, if I have, let's say, 2x again, plus 1 is equal to 9. So what we said that we have to do is that we have to think, okay, what is happening to the x? And remember that we have to use with BIDMAS backwards. So what is happening to the x? I'm multiplying it by 2. What is happening to the x? I'm multiplying it by 2. And I'm also adding a 1 to that solution. So I have to work backwards. So I have to do addition and subtraction first, which means that I have to subtract both sides 1. And this becomes 0. And this is 2x equals 8. And then I divide both sides by 2 because I have to use the inverse operation of multiplying by 2. So I have to do divided by 2 and divided by 2. And this becomes x equals 4. And this is my answer. And we said that this method of inverse operations is what you're going to continue using from now on, and also is very useful because it's a method that will help you to solve very complex equations, okay? So we have, and you have been practicing a lot of these ones. But now what we're going to do is, how do we know? How do we check our answers? How do we know that when we got to the answer is actually the correct answer? So that's what we're going to do now. So I'm going to check my answer. And I'm going to check the answer of this one that is a little bit more complex than the one that we did before. So to check my answer, this is what we have to do. We write our equation, okay? So my equation is 2x plus 1 equals 9, okay? And we're saying that our solution was x equals 4. So given that x is equal to 4. This might be ringing a bell because we did a little bit of this when we did substitution. So what is happening? The x is going to have the value of 4. Now, I want you to see something here. I'm going to introduce this 4 here into x, okay? So when we do that, what do? I do 2 times 4 plus 1 equals 9. And then I solve this. 2 times 4 is 8 plus 1 is equal to 9. And I'm solving 8 plus 1 equals 9 equals to 9. So I want you to see something here. This side of the equation, what I'm going to highlight here, is what we call the left hand side of the equation, because it's the left hand side of that equal sign. And then I have this one here that I'm going to call the right hand side of the equation, because it's at the right of the equation of the equal sign. So we can see here that all of this is on the right hand side and all of this is equal. It's on the left hand side of that equation. Agree? And if the answer is correct, what I need to find at the end is that the left hand side is equal to the right hand side. And when I find that, that means that is true. It's true. When this side is equal to this side, we say, okay, it's true. Therefore, my answer is correct. So when I got to this point here, I can say, therefore, the answer is true, is correct. It's correct that when x is equal 4, this equation is true. This left-hand side is equal to the right-hand side, okay? What happens if I get to the end and let's say that my answer here was 10 and then I said that is equal to 9. We know that 10 is not equal to 9, therefore it's not true. So something went wrong. The answer is not correct. Okay, so I'm going to do more examples in the next video. But for now, what I want you to remember is that to check an answer, you have to sub in the value, work out that answer, and your left hand side has to be equal to your right hand side for it to be true. If it's not equal, then it will be false. Okay, wonderful. We're going to continue in the next video.